Good evening, everyone. Nice to see 42 of you out here. Just solving my camera out in a minute, and we should begin all of us together in the next 2 minutes. Sorry, I was just getting my webcam set up, and I was also getting my hairstyle set up as well. I didn't realize that it was on mute. Thanks for informing me in the chat box, and welcome to all of you to the third and final session of the Hearts Month 2024 training sessions. So now that we've completed the ROP, I'm not going to be sharing my screen with anyone. I have some good news for you. I have located the resolution, rather created a resolution for you that I'm going to be putting up on your respective committee groups. It's going to be a quick, brief, nice, crisp, clear session, all of us today. So as we begin, I want you to put up your questions. This is an exclusive doubt solving session. I'm going to be answering all your questions from the chat box. As you know, the last 2 days, we had essentially covered the entire ROP. So I'm going to read the chat box and I'm going to go about answering the questions. Sir, should we stay in school? Says the fact world. No, absolutely not. You need to come and go on a daily basis. Satvika asked me, she's the delegate of Netherlands here. And my question is, what strategies can delegates use to make their speech more impactful and persuasive during debate? Very nice question. So, Satvika, your addresses, be it in moderated caucus, GSL, in any form of motion, and any GSL time, you should be crisp, you should be clear, you should back your information with statistics, you should use healthy adjectives, and essentially, stick to the point of what you want to communicate in the conference. Next up, what if the agenda is done? Can we set up another agenda? If the agenda is done, there will be something that is called a crisis that will be introduced into the committee, and you can essentially go about being a part of the crisis, which will follow up after you've done with your resolution. Agendas are really vast. Kananish. So it will take some time for you to essentially go through the entire discussions and come up with a resolution. Just give me a minute. It's getting a little dark, so I'm just going to get my lights on. Right, much better now. Siddharth says, explain point 24 and 25. Siddharth, I have explicitly explained both of these points in the previous video. So refer to training session 2 link, forward to about 40 minutes, and you'll be able to get a complete insight into point number 24 and 25. Sid asked me, can you show an example of a resolution paper? Yes, I will do precisely that right now. I'm going to go through it really quickly. So you guys pay attention, and essentially it will give you an insight into what it's supposed to look like. Just a moment. Where are we? Am I audible now? It seems like I am. Yes. What type of research? But then we should not tell a name and talk about something else. So Rajesh asked me, my friends, please don't copy paste the same question and spam the chat. I will not answer your questions if you're going to be spamming the chat asking me multiple times. Rajesh Kanchandani asked me, my friends tell me should not tell our names and talk about something else. What should we talk about? You need to talk about your agenda, Rajesh. That is what you need to discuss. And rather than your names, you are recognized by the country that you're going to be representing in the conference at large. A position paper, this is something, Mitra, you should ask your chairpersons on your group. You have your committee groups. The chairpersons have given a template on what the position papers are, and each chairpersons have their own way of delivering it as well. So, Mithira, irrespective which committee you're in, go to your group and tag your chairperson and ask them how they would like to go about a position paper in their respective committee. Bala asked me what type of research is needed to be collected, only based on delegate position, or can we view fields of other delegates? Yes, absolutely. Remember, Bala, that it's not only about us and our country's perspective that you need to take into consideration, but all the countries in the committee as well. So what you also need to do is not only research about your country, but if you've completed that, you can even go and delve into researching how other countries are also involved in the agenda. You are muted. What is the format of a working paper? Sid Studios, I have shared a working paper already in our last session. Please have a look at the second video, training session 2. The link is still there. You can view it at any time as per your convenience, and it will give you an insight into what the format of a working paper is. But in a nutshell, it is nothing but writing the name of your committee, writing the name of your sub-agenda, writing the authors, and just writing point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4 of your solution. What are chits? Amrita asked me, and sir, can you explain more about position papers? Amrita, your first question, chits are essentially, you could say like a text message that you normally send to your friend, or a WhatsApp message in an MUN conference, a message that you'd like to send across to another delegate sitting in another part of the room. You can write it down on a piece of paper, and that chit can be shared with that delegate through your organizing committee member as well. Position paper, once again, is something which I've shared on the group, and each chairperson has their own methods of a position paper as well. So please, for the position papers, you need to connect on your WhatsApp groups with your chairperson and get an insight into how they would like to have it. What are the dress codes? Namrata, if you spam this chat again, and this won't be the last question I'm going to be answering. Namrata, essentially the dress code, the first day is ethnic, traditional, Indian, is what you need to wear, South Indian traditional. The second thing, what do you call that, day is Western formals, and so is the third day Western formals as well. Learn with Renish says Western formal should wear a formal pant and a shirt with a coat or what? Yes, absolutely. Renish, that's what contributes towards a Western formal thing. I'm not in the group. Lakshay, either your school teacher would have received the WhatsApp group links, or if you could check your registered email ID, the WhatsApp group link should be already present there with you. Sir, GPS delegate speaking here, just wondering if there have any opportunities to get some personal training in relation to our committees. No, the training is common for all, and these are the 3 training sessions that are going to be out there. The first committee session on Saturday for the first 45 minutes will be your personal training session only with your committee and your delegates and your chairperson of GPS. Kavya says, do we have a crisis? Kavya, yes, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's going to appear at any random point of time, Kavya. So yes, you will probably in all possibility do have a crisis in your committee. Zahid asked me, what is a caucus? Caucus is essentially something you like to do in the committee, like a moderated caucus and an unmoderated caucus. Moderated caucus, detailed discussion on a subtopic. Unmoderated caucus, informal session to write your solutions, as well as lobby, negotiate, and be diplomatic. Is it necessary to get a quote for a month? No, it's not compulsory. If you don't have one, don't go out and buy one, but it's always preferable to have one. Blazer works too. Hello, sir. My doubt is, what do I do if my working paper is in going till 1000 to 1500? And I've known it's not necessary, Rohan, to write a 1500 word working paper. It can be much shorter than that as well. There is no such maximum limitation in terms of number of words that need to be used. Purni asked me, when we put in committees, well, let's say the committee of superintendent, will everyone get a single group or a specific group characters? Purni, you have already received your allotments. Each person is individually representing a different superhero, a different portfolio. So essentially what you need to do is have a look at your allotments and represent that particular superhero that has been given and allocated to you. Avantika asked me, does the debate start on Friday or Saturday? The discussions, debates, and deliberations start on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. What is the difference between agreeing normally and agreeing with rights? Ashwath, agreeing in general means yes, you're voting for the resolution. Agreeing with rights means yes, you're voting for the resolution, but you want to explain as to why you are voting for the resolution at large. Can you give any tips to set the motions of the agenda? So that's essentially based completely on your research as well as your study guide. So please refer to these 2 documents. Once you get an insight into your agenda and you are well researched, you will automatically be in a position to get different motions of moderated caucuses. Next up, we have Rohan, how do I know who my enemies are and who my allies are? That depends on your country and the relationship your country shares with other countries at your agenda, with your agenda at hand. So what you need to do is you need to do a whole lot of research, Rohan. So that's what will give you an insight into who your friends and enemies are on a geopolitical platform like the United Nations. In the general speakers list, Amuda, the time limit, maximum time limit is 90 seconds. If you don't complete that 90 seconds, then essentially you can yield your time to another to the chairperson, to comments or to questions. At the edge of the space, ask what is GSL and what is SSL. There is nothing like SSL at this junction time. There is GSL, which is a general speakers list, where essentially all countries alphabetically A to Z give an introductory speech explaining their stance on what their country feels about the agenda. Next up, can we refer our notes and say our speech deeply? Absolutely, yes. We don't want you to mug up or rattle on something and come. So do have your notes handy, do have your electronic device handy. You can look at them and you can speak. There's absolutely no problem. Another question: what is present and voting and just present? How do I prepare for this Hearts Month? So essentially, present and voting means that you, as a delegate of X particular country, is present in the committee and you're going to be exercising your voting rights. How do I prepare for this Hearts MUN? By going through the 3 training sessions, going through the study guides, and going on the internet and researching about your country and its involvement in the agenda. Next up, a working paper is a solution to a subtopic of the main agenda. No, you don't need to make your own placards, Namada. Namda, they will be giving you your placards once you arrive at the conference on Saturday. It will be waiting for you at your desk with your country or portfolio's name written on it. Working papers is something that you'll collectively make on Saturday and Sunday while discussing with each other. Can we use our grades gadgets for personal use in free time? Yes, Siddharth, you might, but please take the permission of your teachers and parents before that. How can delegates ensure their positions are well researched and supported by credible evidence during debates? Using the internet, using the study guide, using credible source of information which I've mentioned, like Amnesty International, Times of India, BBC, CNN, routers, and so on. Avantik asks, how do you know when the debate starts on Friday? Yes, it starts on Saturday. Timings and floggery. So, Tamiz has a gun. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. We have shared with you a final conference itinerary. Please check your registered email, or you can check with your teacher. Everyone has received it. Sir, if we can't remember what we want to say, can we bring a paper and read it? Yes, Rohan, you can bring a paper and read it. But remember, don't go to your parents and ask them to draft something for you. Use your own research, use your own analysis, and accordingly go about making it at large. So this is what you need to keep into mind. Next up, what is the minimum amount of words to use in a position paper? There is no minimum maximum number of words. Like I said about position papers, get in touch with your chairpersons. They are the ones who will essentially guide you on how they would like to have their own position papers. Do we choose a seat in the conference hall? Ashwath, your placard will already be waiting for you on your desk in the conference room. It will mention your country or portfolio's name. You can sit out there. If you'd like to move, you can ask your chairperson where you'd like to sit, and you can accordingly move out as well. How do you give a joint statement? Ask Rishi. Rishi, you raise a placard, say, delegate of so-and-so would like to issue a joint statement along with the delegate of so-and-so country. Come in front of the entire committee and issue the joint statement. Debate starts on Saturdays. Can we use our gadgets for personal use in free time? Yes, I've already answered your questions. Please do not repeat and copy paste the same questions in the chat box. I will delete the chat and block the messages from your end if you're going to be spamming the chat with this. All the edge at the edge of space says, what are blocks? Blocks are essentially like teams. You have 3 blocks essentially. One block is somebody who is like maybe for the agenda, and which comprises of a few countries. Then there's another block which is like against the agenda, which is like another group of countries. And then you have like a neutral block which are yet to decide which block they would like to join. So these are the 3 blocks that essentially exist in an MUN committee, in an MUN conference. Can we collaborate with other delegates? Bala, absolutely. That the objective of the MUN is collaboration, is innovation, is creativity. You must come together with other delegates and find a way to collaborate with them towards the success of your committee and your resolution. Anjali, I'm going to share a copy of the working paper and the resolution on the groups, on the WhatsApp groups tonight. Satvik asked me, what are the most important aspects to focus on when researching a country's position and policies on a given issue? All the aspects of it, right? Right from your foreign policy to what your country's ideologies are, to say, for example, the equation and relation that you have with other countries, like for example, Russia and Ukraine crisis going on right now. As much as you and I, on a personal level, we feel that hey, Russia is kind of doing something wrong here. If you are the delegate of India, Russia is like your good friend, so you should also support Russia in that case as well. Will there be PowerPoints for charging devices? Yes, Rishi, there will be PowerPoints for charging devices. However, how many PowerPoints are there? I'm not precisely sure about, but there should be a place where you can plug in your computers as such. But try to have your electronic devices fully charged before you come in out here. What is the difference between a working paper, resolution, and position paper? Working paper is a solution to a subtopic of the main agenda. Resolution is a solution to the entire agenda, and position paper is what your stance as a country is on that agenda. Also, will the moderate caucus be decided? Because in WhatsApp, there's a poll to decide caucuses. Yes, and Ocean's Anthology, if your chairperson and your committee is focusing on creating moderated caucuses in advance, you can very well, decide them well in advance and then bring them up in committee as well. Do we need to bring anything on Friday? Just a moment, I've lost out. Yep. When does formal voting take place? Formal voting take place at the very end of the committee, which essentially happens during the time of your resolution. Nazia asks, can there be can a delegate be against the agenda? Of course, every country has their own perspectives, and it's a disputed agenda, right? So there will of course be delegates who are against the agenda as well. Next up, sir, do you have directives and press conferences? Say what's delegate kit. Shweta asked me, what is a delegate kit? A delegate kit is your conference kit. It's your file, your folder, maybe a pencil, your placard, and a notepad. So this is what comprises of your delegate kit, which you will need to do the conference and the committee sessions at large. Do we have directives and press conferences? Kavya, yes, you will be having it. This is something that your chairperson Aishwarya on the group will be able to help you with. So please drop in a message, stay active on your WhatsApp groups, and connect with your chairpersons and everybody else in your committee. iPhone doctor says, are gadgets compulsory? They're not compulsory, of course, but I would strongly recommend it because it's not possible to source so much of information of issues that are happening around the world within us itself. So it would be very helpful to you to carry your electronic equipment with you. Rohan asked me, everyone has an option to make one paper. What do you mean by one paper? You can make as many working papers as you like. Only difference is that they need to be voted upon. That's the only way it's going to be impactful in committee. So will we be getting a crisis? I've already answered the question. And once again, the question is maybe yes, maybe no. Most probably yes is where I will close on because, of course, crises are a lot of fun and there's a strong possibility of that happening in the conference. What info should GSL have? Your country stance, what your country feels about the agenda, about what, whether they're for, they're against, or neutral towards the topic. This needs to be communicated in your GSL. Do I do research for my country based on moderate caucus? You have to do a generalized research. RxCH, I'm talking to you and everyone else, of course. You have to do a detailed research on the agenda and your country's involvement. And if you have certain moderated caucuses in mind that you are planning to bring up, or there are some discussions like that happening on the group, then at that juncture in time, you can do a little bit more detailed research specifically around those moderated caucus topics as well. Kavya, yes, it is compulsory to come on Friday. What is the point to ask questions? There is something called motion to open a question answer session. That is something you can essentially do to ask questions to other delegates in your committee. Are crisis there, or they going? So should the crisis are be prepared? Craft, please rephrase your questions. So, Ranjan Kumar, it's not only about speeches and debates, it's about innovative creativity and a solution driven approach. So, even though you might not be so verbally communicative, you can always contribute in the written communication, such as your working papers and resolutions as well. What is a crisis? A crisis is essentially a fictional situation that randomly arrives, and all of you need to solve that entire problem on the spot within a stipulated time period of 2 to 3 hours. Agenda is your topic. Rochelle asks me, if I complete my GSL before 90 seconds, does the time stop while I decide which to yield? Yes, the time does stop, and you can choose what yield you would like to do. Valid question. Next up, moderated caucus. Sakshi, I've already answered it once again for you. It is a detailed discussion on a subtopic of the main agenda. Rishi asked me, what is the crisis? I've just answered that as well. Ranjan Kumar, please don't spam the chat. Avantika Prabhu, do we need to make working paper before the debate or while the debate? So Avantika, you need to make the working paper during your unmoderated caucus. So your cycle goes how you have moderated caucuses, then you have unmoderated caucuses. During this period of unmoderated caucuses, when you need to focus on creating a working paper. Next up, Ranjan Kumar, please don't spam the chat. I will be removing you if that message comes once again. What are the most common mistakes delegates make? Satvika asked me, and how can they be avoided? Satvika, very valid questions you're asking me. Nice to have you out here. So, Satvika, the most common mistakes people make is first and foremost not contributing towards the agenda, not researching well in advance. The entire objective of us coming together is to find a solution-driven approach. Another common mistake that delegates generally make is essentially they do not they only take into consideration their own country's perspective. They don't look at the other perspectives, and as good as they might be at discussion and debates, they don't really get voted upon for their solutions because everything is consensus based, and that's where many of the delegates who are really smart kind of lose out in the process. What should new delegates prepare? What mistakes we made? Muthukumar, I think that's the same answer question as Satvika has asked me. Do we need to bring a hard copy of the position paper as well? No, I don't see the need, Madhu, to bring a hard copy of it. You can send it on to your chairperson, connect with your chairperson on the position paper. He or she will guide you on that. So Deepak asked me, do we need to prepare points or can we see the device and talk? You can see the device and talk. You can have your points mentioned out there. You can look at the research guide. It's an open book, open-ended discussion forum where you can use electronic devices or any other device that you want to make your notes and communicate as such. Just a moment. Rafi asked me, can we compare our country with delegate country? You mean your own personal country, like India, for example, which you are part of? I mean, yes, you can. But remember, at the end of the day, you are Indian, I am Indian. But at the conference, we're representing the world. So look from the other side of the field. Should we dispute or try to collaborate with other delegates? Lord, very valid question. Yes, there is going to be disputes. There are going to be difference in opinions. We are supposed to debate those difference in opinions, and then we need to collaborate with the other delegates and find a solution to these different disputes. Do we need to bring hard copy of position paper? Madhu, please don't spoil the chat. Rohan, please don't spam the chat. To answer your question, please reach out to your committee group for the position papers with your chairpersons. Tamiz Hazahagan messages me, sir, can two countries make a working paper together? Absolutely. It's about collaborative solutions. So not only two, but all countries can come together and make a working paper. All countries can come and make a resolution as well. Next up, are there any things we need to bring other than our gadgets? Yes, bring a bottle of water with you, all right, so that you can refill it from the coolers out there and it to quench your thirst. So yes, please bring a bottle of water with you. Avoid plastic bottles, but do bring your own water bottle with you if possible. See the device. You can see the device while you talk. Madhu asked me, how do we best utilize yielding time? That depends on you. That depends on your speech. If you're confused, just yield it to the chair and let your chairperson decide. Do we need to bring our device on 9th? Yeah, Nanish, bring your device on the 9th. Why not? You can connect with people. There will be a lot of lobbying going on both online and offline. Maybe you can take a few pictures with your friends. Don't forget to tag hearts MUN_LMOIS when you're at our conference and any social media handles as well. Water bottle, Anuja. Bring a water bottle with you. And bring your electronic device on Friday so you can coordinate with your teachers, your friends, your colleagues, your delegates from your committee and so on. Jeremy, don't try to avoid bringing a lot of documents in hard copy. We don't want you to waste paper. We have Microsoft Word, we have Google Docs, so even a soft copy should be absolutely fine. Deepthi, you don't write a moderated caucus, you speak in a moderated caucus. Ashwin asked me, how do we announce that we are yielding time? So once I'm done with my speaker's speech, I would just say the delegate of so-and-so would like to yield the remainder of its time to the chair, to questions or to comments, your choice. Is GSL mandatory? Asks Ansh. Yes, absolutely. GSL is 100% mandatory in the conference. Yes, Kavya, you can ask your chairperson to share your marking sheet on the group, on your respective groups. The chairpersons are the ones who are going to be marking you, so please reach out to them on your respective committee group. So can we use a net while the recording session is going? Yes.